and welcome to Capelle Livechat, where you get business insights amidst fast-changing times. I'm Jackie Yap, and with me today is Dr. Gog Soon Joo, Chief Skills Officer of SkillsFuture Singapore. Soon Joo, it's such a delight to have you here with us.
Thank you, Jackie.
I understand that you actually lead a team of job skills analysts, data scientists, futurists, and they actually study trends that affect businesses, jobs, and skills. Could you tell us a little bit more about that, as well as how you repurposed your team to carry that out?
Thanks, Jackie, for the question. Yes, in July 2019, I was asked to take over as the division called Skills Development Group as Chief Skills Officer. So that before my time, the whole team of officers were looking after the development of skills framework for Singapore. So over the five years, they have developed all 34 sector skills framework. And the skill was pretty difficult to develop because we need to engage tripartite partners, go to firms, and do all the interviews. So the process was very long drawn. Each framework takes about, I would say, easily 9 months to a year before we can publish and understand what kind of job and skills. So they take about 5 years. And by the time when I took over, it was near the tail end of skills framework development. And I knew that we need to have a more speediest way to identify job and skills in order to inform the citizens, the stakeholders about what kind of job and skills are in demand and changing. So I was asking myself then, how can we do it faster instead of traditional ways? So we decided that we need to repurpose ourselves and know how to utilize various databases, how to collect data, how to use neural network analysis to be able to inform us on the fastest way. And a lot of time is moving forward. We are not looking at today's job. We need to anticipate tomorrow's job. What kind of job in the future where our economy need for Singaporean? So I think these are the impetus for us to decide that, okay, we need to repurpose ourselves from a skills framework development group to one that really develop skills for the citizens, for the economy.
It must have been a huge change moving from, in a way, an encyclopedia way of determining skills to one that is really more based on trends, on needs, and looking at the future. So how did you, in a way, move the team from, say, standard roles to really one of more innovation, exploration, and even experimentation?
Yes. Jackie, you're right about using the word encyclopedia. I had the same feeling about the first set of skills framework was really very much encyclopedia, because once it's published, it's more online and people have to expect to download the booklet to flip and trying to understand what is being published. So we asked ourselves, the first thing is, how can we have a common understanding of the future directions, which is very timely because at that moment in time we were launching next bound of SkillsFuture, which is after the 5 years, the next 5 years, what does SkillsFuture mean to citizens and the whole nation? And the next bound of SkillsFuture has identified that the 3 key stakeholders, the citizens, the enterprises, employers, and the training providers, be it the IHL, be it the private providers, has to be the trinity that we need to work together and have the share informations. And we ask ourselves, how can we do that? And we know that we need to develop job skills insight for all. And that job skill insight for all become the directions, and we know why, the new purpose for all of us. Then the next question is the how part will come later. But the transformation of the culture is something that was difficult, but we need to know how to do it. That's where we start with shaping the culture first before determining the how to do part.
How did you culture and mindset takes a while to change. You can't just turn on and off the switch, so to speak. So how did you balance that and at the same time meet expectations of what you had to deliver?
Yes. Tough, I must say, very difficult, still very difficult. The first thing we did was to get the leadership team together, which we decided to call ourselves the 3C.
Okay.
Care, culture, and change. So we decided that our identity as a leadership team is care, culture, and change. And whenever we meet every 2 weeks, it's always these 3 topics: care, culture, and change. So that we will not lose sight of how to manage the fear and the concern of the people, their well-being, the mental well-being, the emotional well-being. Then we need to think about the culture. What kind of culture you want to shape up, which is the one that you say standardizations, everything is QC'd properly, to one that is, hey, it's okay, I have no playbook, I want to try and do new things. And then the change part really come in about moving the ground. So I think that the 3C kind of gel the leadership team together, and we will every 2 weeks we'll deliberate on how has the progress, is things better, and we designed together. We decided to design a first is we're going to set the culture right. How do we encourage innovation? How do we tell people that there's no SOP anymore, and there is no steady state? Everything is about iterative. We need to go to the market with minimum viable product, iterate, check with the user, no good, okay, we come back and redo, enhance the next version and go out. I think that takes a lot of courage, and saying that I'm going to the market not knowing really this is a product we need to produce. So we design work, learn, deliver. I call it work, learn, deliver. We call it work, learn, deliver packages. That there are certain projects that every team member will jump through together. It starts with very simple thing, organizing webinar. Because organizing webinar means, okay, you need to find partners, find out topics, and then you need to know how to curate and how to host. Something totally new, because a lot of them were very much back-end researchers. They don't front, they don't look at the camera, they don't have to engage a lot. So that pushed everyone. So we roster everybody to go through that in a team of 3. So the first team will jump the pool first, will turn back and tell the rest of the team, hey guys, this is the process. Then the next team will add on and tell the third team, hey, this is how we work out. You need to play some music before that, and you know how to adjust stuff. So gradually the momentum built, and everybody was so excited they have done something totally new in their life they've never done before. So that was to us, it's a low-lying fruits, first success. Then after they do another thing. So that whole work, learn, deliver packages was very deliberate. We let them try about a year of different packages. Then we find training programs to come in. We work with NUS Scale to identify a series of programs that will help them in their work. After an experience through, they know what communication means, and they want to find out about how do I write on a LinkedIn post? How do I write a dossier that looks authoritative? How do I do proper citation? How do I use data? How do I use analytics? So I think after the experience through, then we give them this backup, knowledge backup, have the time to get out of work, to rethink and reflect on their practices through this kind of training. I thought it was a very useful process. Do first, experience, and then you know that it worked out, it didn't work out. Then you find that, it makes sense after all. Then come back and continue to do it. So now we're designing the phase 2 of the work, learn, deliver packages.
So it sounds like, you used incremental steps, you provided peer learning, and also some development programs along the way. And I also found it interesting that the first C is care, because change can be scary, and some say that actually the rate of change has outpaced our ability to actually adapt to change now. So with this sense of fear sometimes, how did you in a way care for your staff to help them take that leap of faith?
So what we have done is we deliberately set up care group. Sounds quite funny, right? Like school care group. So the care group with one of the CCC member is only to talk about issues of concern or issues that they want to raise. Nothing to do it's not about deliverables. So that on a regular basis they will check in with the care group, and then they will feedback to the CCC, and whenever we meet on a monthly basis, we'll raise the CCC. Has anybody see any issues? Any team member are not has major concern or show signs of stress, or are they okay? So I think we set up this care group, and this care group kind of quite effective, because if the care person typically are not your RO, not your reporting officer.
So it's not their direct boss.
Number 2 is I make it a point to meet every team member twice a year.
Personally?
So that time dedicated to seeing them and say that, hey, you can tell me anything, this is not recorded. You want me to say the truth. You want to ask me difficult questions, by all means ask. So I think that slowly build up the trust, and we also changed the way we do performance review.
Oh.
Yeah, because in mid last year we decided to say, hey, the performance review must reflect what value to us. What value to us as a team in SDG and Skills Development Group. So number one, we say we value innovations. Number two, we say we value collaborations and co-learning, co-creations. Number three, we say we value care. So how can we create this performance review that allow us to reflect this? So we make a very concerted effort. It's about not personal achievement. I've done this, done this. So we ask very simple questions like, name the top 5% whom you think in the team are your role model, that you look up to, and you really think you respect them for what they have done. So they name and they justify. It's very interesting. Then suddenly you see this congregation or name like, this pool of individuals are the one that are the positive forces.
So the focus moves away from the individual to role models in the team.
And of course, they can talk about themselves, how I contribute, right? And you triangulate, you see that the other party agree that this person is doing this for the team. So we allow them to identify their role model, we allow them to talk about their contributions, and in the area of what we think is important, innovation, collaborations, co-creations and all that. So I think that kind of also shaped the culture, and people, we actually published the collective findings. Yes, collective finding of, okay, do you know who are the on the top of the chart this year? Or these are the names, how many times they are being mentioned, about for what reason they are being mentioned. So they know that, it's recognized. Indeed, they recognize that this poor individual are the special one that driving the change is recognized. That was a very important decision to change the performance review process. Not just about accounting for what you have done, but how have you contributed to change the whole culture. And of course, we also have as SkillsFuture Singapore's employee engagement survey. So we compare year on year, see whether there is any changes in key area of concern, like for example, whether the workplace has offered a psychologically safe environment for them to work, whether they feel that the workplace allowed them to participate in innovations. And I must say that the most recent one, we're very happy to see 100% of the team members say that yes, they were given opportunity to innovate, which I am extremely happy.
Results.
And the trust level has gone up because they know that it's okay. I can fail. I can innovate. I can fail, and I can do. And everybody's around here to work together. I think that's the kind of change that if you ask me, I would want to measure during the change process.
Right.
Of course, there are still KPI to meet. There is still work plan to meet.
Yes.
But if we were to see that work is a process to develop people and team, things will fall in nicely. Whether you ask me whether I have the period I anxious, of course I do anxious when I'm asking like, when is this going to happen? Who is going to quickly deliver this team? There are clients or there are partners waiting for this to push out. When can I see that happen? So yes, sometimes I may be jumpy at the corner, and they can sense that Soon Joo is anxious. They will come in and take certain actions. But along the way, it's about guiding each other how to get things done.
So it sounds like you've established, in a way, some pillars of culture that you want your people to focus on, and also you created some safe places, for them to truly share their concerns.
So we have a monthly committee of practice where we ask, who want to come and share the most recent piece of work, so they can be vulnerable, like, it was so difficult, so I didn't know I was doing well. Then after that, but by the time they present what they have done, people are like, wow, this is fascinating. So I think it's allow them to share, and also be vulnerable. And
Yes.
all of us like, yeah, we have the same feeling. No, yes, agree that
You're
this
not
was difficult.
alone. Yes.
You're not alone. And I thought that COP practice was very good as well.
Okay. Soon Joo, thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights with us.
I know.
And to you, our audience, thank you for tuning in to Capelle Livechat, where you can get business insights amidst changing times. We'll be back in a few weeks' time. Goodbye.
Thank you.